Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Victory Drive. This week, I had on my good buddy, Dominic Scheetz. We discussed, we kind of just started bullshitting a little bit, talked about our season, because we are in the middle, our kind of tail end of a lot of people's archery seasons, and talked about that a little bit, talked about some season updates, and then we got into his rifle pronghorn hunt that he went on in Wyoming. He told a great story about that. It was a short-lived hunt, but all the lead up getting into Wyoming and him shooting his rifle and getting used to it and all that good stuff. We talked about that quite a bit. And, so had Dominic Scheetz back on. He's a great guy, part of Team WCB. We had a great conversation. So I hope you guys enjoy it. All right, and on to the business. All right, so Mountain Ops. Code Victory, 20% off. They just had their Black Friday sale where everything on their site was 30% off. So if you got something then, great job. You paid attention and saved some money. But if you missed it, then you can always use Code Victory and you get 20% off of everything no matter what. So also, Africa, August 26th through September 3rd. If you guys want to go, let me know. We're going to Africa with Stuart Pringle, legendary African safaris. And it's going to be, they have awesome accommodations. We've talked about it in depth here before. I just want to remind everyone of the dates of August 26th through September 3rd. And also Wyoming Bear Camp. It'll be me, Devin Leonard, and Trey Heiner and his crew in Wyoming shooting some bears obviously in Wyoming, May 27th through the 31st. If you guys want to get that too, I think we have a few spots available in Wyoming as well. Reach out to me. Let me know if you have any questions, concerns, or interest. Also, Grizzly Coolers. In my opinion, the kings of the hard-sided coolers, but also the soft-sided coolers. Their soft-sided coolers are awesome. We highlighted them a few episodes back. But they just really have, in my opinion, some of the most durable and the best coolers on the market right now. They also have box blinds that I'm really getting interested in. There's a few spots that I know of that would be really nice to have a box blind on because it's down in the bottom where wind kind of swirls. And if you keep that thing buttoned up until the moment of truth, then it makes it a lot more effective. I think hunting them bottoms where winds tend to swirl around and stuff. So, also with Grizzly Coolers, you can use code WCB for 15% off. That is code WCB for 15% off. All right, now on to the episode. Hope you guys enjoy. Goodbye. All right, Dominic Scheetz, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, man, doing well. How about yourself?
Oh, good, very good. Just had to work a little later than usual tonight, and just getting home and doing a podcast with you. So life is better, you know.
Yep. It's always better once you get home.
Yeah, it is. It's man, my fucking deer season is slipping through my fingers. I feel like though.
I feel the same way.
Feels
like I've come close so many times and just can't quite seal the deal.
Yeah, I mean this has been kind of a, I guess more. What am I trying to say here? It's been a rough year for you as well, hasn't it? Like your archery season. Yep. I know. I'm on the Team WCB group chat and stuff that we have going. It seems like it's just this year for some reason has been riding the struggle bus.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I had two good bucks, good for around here, that I was watching all summer long, and they were so consistent. And then both of them disappeared about a week before the season and haven't shown up again. Then there was one. He's not a giant, but he was a cool buck. I had him at like 20 yards last season with like 5 days of season left. He had a cool drop tine. But I passed on him last year. I was like, well, it's only 5 days left in the season. If he's made it this far, he's probably going to make it to next year. And so he ended up making it to this year, and he lost that drop tine. He just had a weird, funky rack. But I did get a shot at him. That was Halloween, and I was able to get him. He wasn't huge by any means, but he was a cool buck, had cool character. So that's when my season turned around, really. I mean, I wasn't even seeing deer. I probably hunted at least 25 times up till that point on Halloween, and I'd seen maybe 5 deer, and then Halloween is when that big cold front hit here. Mm-hmm. I think it hit you guys a couple days ahead of time. I'm in Virginia, by the way.
I was just going to say, refresh everyone on where you're at. So, Virginia.
Yep. I'm Virginia, about 35 miles west of D.C.
Yep. Yeah, I think you're right, because that cold front hit us. It was, a little bit. It was right. Yeah, it was probably a few days before Halloween. Halloween was kind of like just the tail end of it, but it's still really good.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah,
that was the first day it hit us over here on the East Coast.
Okay.
But it was the same front. And that was the same front that everyone on the team was just suddenly there were bucks dropping left and right.
Oh, dude, it was ridiculous. It was like
that was crazy.
It was over a week of having at least someone in the group killing a really good buck. Like
right, exactly. Yeah, no, it was super cool. I mean, for me, it was frustrating because I'd be out there hunting and wouldn't see a single deer, and everyone's like posting pictures of these giant Midwest deer they're killing, and I don't even have hardly anything on camera. So it was when that buck showed up, it really lifted my spirits and turned my season around a little bit. But it's still been a little bit of a struggle bus since then.
Yeah, because I mean, what was it last year? Wasn't it last year or the year before that where you usually put down quite a few deer with your bow? Yeah.
There's a lot of deer in this area. It's a target-rich environment, to say the least. And this year has just been a weird year. We got a lot of acorns on the ground this year, and I'm thinking that maybe that's what it is. The deer just don't have to move anywhere to eat. They can just bed down, stand up, eat, bed back down. So that's about the only thing I can attribute that to. I don't know what else has changed to make them not even showing up on camera. So
yeah, I mean, my season it's been rough in a different way. I have seen deer and I've seen a lot of nice bucks, and I honestly had some of the biggest bucks I've ever seen on the hoof within bow range of me. Yeah, I just couldn't quite seal the deal. I took my longbow.
Well, I was gonna say you were out there chasing with the longbow.
Yeah, yep.
So that's a whole nother challenge in and of itself.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, before season started, my buddy and I were going through trail camera pictures and stuff, and looking at everything. I'm like, I don't know, nothing's really that great right now that we have. I mean, we had a few really nice bucks. A couple of them were really nice younger deer, like 3.5-year-olds that were showing some really good potential, and they're in spots where we feel really comfortable passing deer, just because the guy that kind of runs it, he's like, yeah, we're not gun hunting this year, and we're really wanting to see these ones go, and we're like, cool, fuck yeah, dude, like we're on board. That's
great.
Yeah, because around here,
everyone was with the program to let these younger deer pass.
Yeah,
try and get them to get an older age group.
Yep. Yeah, it's really cool when you kind of meet people like that, and he doesn't own the land. He rents it for like cattle ground and whatnot else. And,
okay.
but he has most of the control over it. And we got permission and some neighboring pieces and that are all around him that he also kind of runs around. It's just all in the same area. And we're basically all four of us, because he has his brother. Neither of them really hunt a whole lot, but they like to hunt. They just can't. They're just so busy. They just are like, but they're they love seeing big deer too. So he's like, yeah, we'd really love to see these ones go. And both my buddy and I were like, yeah, we're on board. We'd love to see more big older deer running around. So
I wish I could get more people around here to sign up for that program. It seems like people. I mean, we have 3 buck tags, and people are like, "Oh, I got to fill my buck tags." Like that, it doesn't matter what they are. It's just got to fill my buck tags, and that frustrates me to no end. I mean,
it's very frustrating.
We definitely have. Sorry.
That's it. It is very frustrating when that happens.
Yeah. No. We have potential to grow some pretty good deer. I'm not going to say they're Iowa or Illinois standards, but I mean, we consistently as a state produce a few Boone and Crockett deer every year. Mm-hmm. I have a feeling there are quite a few that get killed here every year, but
it's one of those things too where I know a lot of other states kind of compare their deer herds to like that of like Illinois, Iowa, Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, wherever else big bucks kind of roam around. But you can't really, you can't do that. I don't know. I'm not a biologist, but I feel like up around you guys, it's almost like a completely different deer species. Like they're white-tailed deer, but I feel like they're just generally smaller. I don't know if it's the food or what it is. If it's the lack of, and the fact that in the Midwest, obviously there's corn and beans everywhere. Yeah. And that gets them really fat.
Big corn-fed deer.
Yeah. I don't know if it's just purely the feed or if it's the fact that they're just like something. Because I know when they're like repopulating North America with white-tailed deer, because they got decimated back in the 1800s, and I think we were down to like a few thousand deer in America.
Almost none, basically.
Yeah, they're pretty damn close to extinction, and they started bringing them back, and I think they kind of pulled from a bunch of different places. They're the same species, so they can definitely, intermingle and all that. But I think they were pulling from so many different spots that
just different genetics. The genetics were probably if they pulled them from the East Coast or from the South, they probably genetically they had smaller bodies because they didn't need to pack on as much for the wintertime because we have more mild winters and
stuff
like that.
I don't know if it's something like that, but it just seems like you just can't really. It's almost really, I don't know. I don't know if I feel bad or what was like. You almost can't really compare. No,
right, and that's why I say for this area, and I've killed a few good ones in this area, and I'm damn proud of them. I mean, they're great bucks for this area, and so. But when you were talking about with the corn and stuff, and how that could be a factor in why the deer are so much bigger there. I think that definitely is because we have some areas of Virginia that are just farmland everywhere, and those areas typically produce much bigger deer too. So
I think that's that way in Michigan as well. Like the Upper Peninsula area where it's all hardwoods is like significantly smaller deer than in the southern part of Michigan where it's predominantly farmland.
Right.
So I'm not a Michigan.
Yeah, here there's not a whole lot of farmland anywhere in the vicinity for these deer to be eaten on. It's mostly just big open timber and with houses sprinkled into the timber throughout. And I mean, you might get someone with like a 2-acre field and they plant some corn or whatever, but it's nothing substantial.
How do you hunt those like big woods areas? Like, do you just kind of do a shit ton of scouting and find a heavy trail and sit on it and just see what happens? Or, I mean, what's kind of your tactics?
I typically try to find terrain features that'll funnel them down. You might have be on like a ridge, and you'll have some deep drainages, I guess, that a lot of times the deer would rather walk up around the head of the drainage. So they might be anywhere top to bottom on the ridge, but when they get to one of those drainages, a lot of times they'll go up to where it's not as severe and they can cross over it or just go around it entirely, or down on the ground or on the lower portions, look for creek crossings and then kind of backtrack from there, try to follow the trail until I get to some place that I think I can hunt. Those bottoms are so tough to hunt because everything is so hilly and the wind just swirls. I mean, that's kind of what I was dealing with tonight. I was out and the wind was blowing basically 360 degrees.
Yeah.
I was just sitting there in the tree like, what am I even doing?
Yeah.
And of course I didn't see a single deer. But
it's rough.
it was, we kind of touched on it just briefly for a second, but I was telling you before we started recording, it was a weird hunt. This property I was hunting, it's great because there's a road through a neighborhood, and then you get out of the houses, and the road just kind of dead ends at this creek bottom. And so I can park, and I cross the creek, and I'm in my stand. So access is perfect, and I can just, if the wind cooperates, I can let my wind just blow back up that road.
Oh, yeah.
But tonight it was just swirling. But anyways, so I was parked and I was sitting in the stand, and it was just getting to sundown, and this truck pulled up and parked next to mine, and this lady got out, and then about 5 minutes later, another truck comes pulling down the road and parks, and this dude gets out, and they start making out in the middle of the road right next to my truck, and then they climbed into the lady's truck, and they were in there for a little while, probably 20 minutes.
No shit.
And I'm sitting there in my tree, probably 40 yards away, and I'm like, how did they not see me? I mean, I'm wearing orange because it's gun season, and I don't know. And then dude got out of the truck, and both trucks drove off.
No shit. That is wild, dude.
So I think between the wind swirling and that, whatever you even want to call it, that's one of the directions a lot of the deer come from. So
a casual meetup.
That could be a factor in why I didn't see anything.
Oh man, dude, that's wild. I wonder. I always kind of wondered, if you were to have sex before you go out, do you think the deer could smell that in the air? I don't know.
That is a good question.
I wonder.
Maybe it would bring big bucks in.
Yeah, like, ooh, this smells different. Let's go check that out.
You're right, exactly. I've heard them say that about like women hunting if they're, I don't know if it's when they're on their period or whatever, but it's something like that they put out some weird scent and
pheromones, man.
Yeah, exactly. And big bucks just smell it and come in to investigate.
Yeah, I love how we're just a couple dudes sitting here like talking out of our ass about it. Like that. None of that is probably
to back this up whatsoever. It's just anecdotal or hearsay.
Just straight, probably heard it from another dude that's just like, I wonder
yeah,
if
exactly.
if when human women are in season, I wonder if the bucks can like connect the dots,
Right, exactly.
You would think that with all the shit that's like all the shit that's in the outdoor industry that's for sale, you think someone would have like if there was any scientific basis to that, they would have found a way to market that. But
I would think so, yeah. Just bottled estrus. It's not deer estrus.
No, just it works the same. I swear, and it's 100% natural. taken
You
straight
could
from
use
the
it in states that only allow the synthetic stuff now.
Oh, is there states that only allow synthetic stuff now?
Yeah, Virginia is one of them.
Oh, really? What's the deal on that?
CWD.
What? CWD's passed
Yep.
through estrus piss?
No, just urine in general. Bodily fluids.
I thought that was passed through shit, not piss.
Feces, piss, spit, or saliva,
really?
whatever. Yep.
Damn. Huh.
Yep.
Weird.
So I know that there are a handful of states that have outlawed deer urine. So
Do you
you can only use synthetics here in Virginia.
Couldn't they test it though and put it out there, be like CWD free piss? Like,
I don't know if from what I understand, they can only confirm that the deer doesn't have it by checking the lymph nodes.
oh,
And in order to check those, they have to kill the deer.
true.
So
Right.
I don't know if there's an economical way to do that where you're harvesting a bunch of piss from one deer and then you kill it.
Yeah, and then
So,
check it. Like, yeah, we're clear. Yeah, no, that's
there are all
valid.
kinds of farms that claim that they're CWD free, but I think that unless you were to kill them all
Mhm.
and test them, that they can't really say that for sure.
Yeah, I know they're dealing with that pretty bad in Wisconsin, Minnesota. Somehow,
Yeah.
I know we have some of it in Iowa, but so what's weird is that Minnesota, with their CWD program that they're doing their idea to combat CWD is to issue a metric fuckload of tags and just kill more deer. You're like,
Yeah.
less deer dying of CWD, right? And it's like, okay, that doesn't really make sense to me personally. I think I would rather have a more robust and booming deer population than you're gonna have casualties obviously, but it's like you'd think because there are deer that have a sort of immunity to CWD, hence why they're not all dead. So you think that you'd want to just let it run its course, and whatever you're left with. If anything, you'd think you'd want to limit tags and save the population in order to see what happens. But their idea is to kill more deer. So they have in CWD zones in Minnesota, you can get a CWD tag, and it's only $1.
Interesting.
It's $1, $1, and it's buck or doe. And you go in those CWD zones and fucking lay the dick down in those areas and kill all the deer, dude. It's nuts. It's nuts.
That's crazy. I think the first county in Virginia, I don't want to say the county because I could be wrong on it, but it was one of the ones out in like the northwest near the Blue Ridge Mountains. The first county they discovered it in, they did everything they could to encourage hunters to kill as many deer as they could. I think the reasoning behind it is, from what I understand from the research I've done, through piss and shit and saliva, it can actually, like, plants can absorb it, and they can, like, it can go all the way down into the roots into the soil system, and it can stay there for like 7 years or something. And so I think the goal there, I think, is to just kill them so they can't spread it at all, wipe everything out, so that they minimize the amount of CWD that's out there on the land. And then,
well, yeah, I guess I could kind of see that. But what do you do then? Just keep killing every deer you see in that area for the next 7 years?
Yeah,
like,
I don't know.
That is nuts. Because I know with also in Minnesota, because there's a huge hoopla in Minnesota about this. Like they were holding town hall meetings, and a lot of the citizens and hunters were rightfully getting pissed. They're like, what the fuck, guys? Like, because that CWD tag in Minnesota, you can get as a non-resident too. So
really,
yeah. So there's literally like, hey,
shit, what are we doing here? Let's go Let's go shoot some bucks in Minnesota.
I know, I thought about it. I was talking to my buddy. He has some family up there, and he's like, "It's not worth it, man." He's like, "You're not." First of all, there's only does and like 1.5, 2.5-year-old bucks. Like they are doing a number on. It's working. Like they're killing all the deer. So, but they're also killing every deer with age class. So there's just what's left is a shit ton of really young deer, I guess, is what he was saying. He could be wrong. It's all anecdotal, obviously.
I mean, that makes sense if they're hunting it that hard and making these tags available for $1 to anyone.
Yeah, but I also know that they were really ruffling the feathers of a lot of the deer farmers. So there's a good amount of farmers up there that do have like high fence operations for either their, collecting shed antlers for antler chews for dogs and shit, or selling deer piss and they commercially raising deer for those reasons. But they're high fence. They're not allowed to. If a deer gets out, they have to report it to the DNR. All their deer need to be ear tagged and all that good shit.
Right.
But when CWD was getting really big, they were suspecting that it came from deer farms because those deer live in such confined quarters. They think that's where it kind of stemmed from. So I think what they did with if you're a deer farmer and they come through and they kind of track the CWD to your farm, then the DNR comes in, they tell you to wipe out your deer, and you have to dig up all the dirt, like you were saying, like the plants in the soil, they have to kill everything and dig it up a significant amount of the topsoil and take it down to just bare dirt and then replant whatever. But
that's crazy. I can't imagine being a deer farmer and having to deal with that. I mean, that's pretty much destroying your livelihood.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like that's nuts. Like that's.
I wonder if they have CWD insurance for those deer farmers now.
You'd think there would be some sort of insurance for that, right? I don't know. I'd be getting.
I don't know.
I mean, I suppose there probably would be some sort of special like livestock insurance that they put on them, where if like if any type of disease comes through,
some kind of disease comes through and wipes out your herd, whether it wipes it out or the DNR forces you to wipe them out.
Yep. That's I
don't know too much about it though.
Yeah, I don't really know much. I'd love to have like a biologist on that knows a lot about CWD and could talk about that because it is a really interesting subject, and it's also
super interesting.
Yeah, it's also interesting how it hasn't spread near as much as they said it was going to, because they're talking like, because I think a lot of it stemmed from Wisconsin was a huge part of it, and then it kind of spread from there into Minnesota and into parts of Iowa. But Iowa's like what they're kind of doing is like we're monitoring it, but we're not really taking action because it hasn't gotten too out of hand. Like EHD in Iowa kills more deer every year than CWD does. I'm pretty positive.
Yeah, right.
So, but with EHD, there's really nothing you can do about that. You just gotta roll the punches and hope you don't have a drought. But we've had
also, I don't think the deer can transfer EHD from one deer to another.
Correct.
Versus CWD, they can.
Yep. So if I'm not mistaken, EHD comes from like these midges that brood in mud. So when there's
as the water rescinds or whatever, it dries up, it leaves those mud flats, and
and
those midges will hang out.
We call them
in there.
Yeah, I think we call them no-see-ums. I think it's the same bug, but it's that bug. And when they get in there, then they can fuck up a deer and give it EHD. But in a lot of places, especially down in southern Iowa, where there's a much larger deer population down there, and so there's a higher number of deer, and also there's a higher number of farm ponds. So the deer's main water source down in a lot of those places down in southern Iowa are from ponds. So
got it. So it tends to affect them more on EHD years than northern Iowa.
Yeah, it seems like in northern Iowa, the majority of the deer get their water from like flowing rivers and creeks and stuff, and I don't think it gets that. At least up where I'm at, there's not that much EHD scare up here. Like, it's not near as bad as it is down in southern Iowa. So
Gotcha.
I feel pretty fortunate about that.
Yeah,
but,
no, for sure.
You know, I do live in the part of Iowa, I've said this before, but I do live in the part of Iowa that is not like what people think of Iowa when it comes to deer hunting. Like, it's literally my whole area is just farmland and creek bottoms and river bottoms is all it is. Like, the only timber we really have here, there's some, you know, some pockets, you know, some acreages have groves, some thick overgrown groves that deer like to live in a lot of times, and like little pothole areas in the middle of fields. But the majority of the timber comes from creek and river bottoms. So, so let me flip that question back to you. What's your method of hunting that kind of stuff? Because I have no experience hunting that flat, open country like that. It's different. So the deer up in my area, they tend to have wide, like longer ranges, I think, than they do down in southern Iowa. Like, there's definitely spots like that. One spot I was telling you, there's a good amount of deer that live there, and there's a lot of areas up over where I was talking about earlier that has like some good grass, some good waterways, and some decent timber. And but basically, the biggest tactic, honestly, is to find some timber and that rides a creek and find a pinch point. And the pinch points aren't really super hard to find. You can find them on the aerial maps really easily. Basically, you're looking for where the creek pinches from two bigger chunks, because there's some chunks that would get of timber that would get pretty big, and generally that's where deer like to bed and stuff and live. Right. But then they're going to run those creeks and rivers. Like, they're just going to run those bottoms and stuff. So you
find an area where the timber pinches down to a more narrow point and just try and get in there.
Yep, sit it out and wait. I mean, you can. It really depends. That's kind of been our tactics, is try not to pressure certain areas too much, because we generally know the areas where they're bedding. I don't have a lot of spots that deer are bedding on. Most of the spots that I get permission on are transition areas. So they're rut spots. You're gonna set up shop in there, and you're gonna sit it out from dusk till dawn. And hope for the best. Hope they come by. That kind of thing. Yeah,
cruising buck to come through.
Yep. And you know, we have some spots where we like to get into, and there's some bedding areas that we like to kind of hunt the fringes of and everything. So it's just kind of like that. It's pretty typical, but the thing is, it's not really that hard to find deer, because you drive around the roads and you glass, you know, especially in the wintertime when all the crops are down and the snow's on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you just drive around and you find hey, that field has a fuck ton of deer in it. What's the closest timber? Right. Oh, I bet you they're living there, you know, so. So it makes it kind of tough.
But then at the same time, like, you might know exactly where they're coming from and going to, but you still have in a big open area. Well, yeah, so does everyone else, but then also access. You have to have a way to get in there and get out too.
Yep.
So that would be a whole nother challenge in and of itself, because if there's no crops, then everything's just wide open. The deer can be bedded and watch you coming across for 500 yards, and then you get set up and they're like, nope, not going out that way.
Yeah, exactly. It's tough. You got to get in there pretty early a lot of times. And you kind of, that's one of the reasons why I like to hunt those transition areas a lot, because when they're rutting and they're running through, like, there's this one spot I know of that it's pretty killer. When it's killer, it's fucking killer, but it's really only killer for such a short amount of time. Obviously, everyone knows, like, during that seeking,
you just have that little window.
You have that little window, and you just kind of better be there when those first few does are coming into estrus.
Right.
So you really just got to be there. And, you know, I mean, I've had some killer sits in there, and it just pinches them down so tight. And you can have, you know, I don't know, fucking 20 deer run past you in a day.
Oh my
gosh. You know, it's pretty nuts. But when it's dead, it's the worst. You know, it could be totally on fire that one day, and then you go in there the next day, and you're like, all right, like, this is going to happen. Like, it was killer yesterday, it was killer yesterday. So you go in there the next day, and there's just nothing, like, absolutely nothing.
No,
so you're just like, man.
that time of year, it's either feast or famine.
Yeah, exactly. And that's when I got one of I had a really nice buck, and I'm kind of glad I didn't shoot him, but I'm also kind of worried because our gun season does come. This is the first year I've ever had that, like, well, obviously this is a gun podcast, but we're both avid bow hunters. WCB,
right.
Word Class Bow Hunter, brought us all together. So we're all bow hunters, and we love bow hunting. But this year is the first time I've ever been, like, kind of nervous about gun season, because I have a decent amount of bucks that I'm like, man, if they get another year or two in them, they're going to be studs, like absolute hammers.
Really?
But the gun pressure is so astronomical up here, because just like I said, everyone during gun season, they go through and they post a bunch of dudes up on brushy fence lines and escape routes, and they have, a few dudes walk through the timber, and once the deer bust once they bust out of the timber, they're in the wide open fields. And you have guys post up on every fence line when they're running through. It's like, we all know that when deer are running away from something, they like to take those, like, kind of brushy fence lines. They like to stay close to cover. But you'll see deer
as much as they can.
Yeah, and you'll see deer running through the middle of fields out here, no problem. But they're going to hit a fence line eventually, and there's more than likely going to be a hunter nearby that either sees them running through open fields or is already sitting waiting for them, kind of thing. So it's really tough for deer in my area to get age on them. So that's why I like to hunt. That's why I like to go to southern Iowa or other parts of Iowa, just because the topography makes them. It just allows them to get a little bit older. Like
for sure.
Yeah, like southern Iowa, there's nice rolling hills and some bluffs and some other topography that, they get pushed out during gun season. They take 2 or 3 bounds and they're off into this ravine, and you're not seeing them. They're gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's like, I like to hunt those areas, especially during bow season, just because, they're just more deer because they can get away. In my area, they can't really get away very easily.
Now, I know you, excuse me, I know you hunted muzzleloader season, and I listened to your podcast on that, talking about how that went. Sounded like you weren't thrilled about it.
Not really.
But so how does that work? Can you hunt with a gun now that gun season is getting ready, or did you have to pick, okay, I'm going to hunt with a muzzleloader instead of a gun?
Yeah. So in Iowa, the way they do their gun season, so there's only one archery season, obviously, and that goes from October 1 to, well, this year it's December 2nd, but it's the first weekend of December. Okay. And then gun 1 picks up, then gun 2, and then it's late season. But so with that early muzzleloader tag, that basically drops in the middle of October. And if you opt for that gun tag, then no, you're fucked. Like, Iowa only allows residents to get 1 archery buck tag and 1 gun buck tag. And you pick the season. You have early muzzleloader to pick from. You got gun 1, gun 2, and late muzzleloader to pick from for your
so you have tag. One of 4 seasons to pick from for your second tag.
Yep, correct. Yeah, and you cannot get 2 archery tags. So if you want to shoot
but
2
you guys
bucks,
can still shoot deer with a bow during whatever season,
late season,
the gun or muzzleloader you pick.
Yep. No. So gun 1 and 2, no bow hunting allowed whatsoever.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So bow hunting cuts off. Just cut it on December. This year's December 2nd until I think it's December 18th is when gun 2 ends. Second season gun ends.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So no bow hunting allowed. You can't wear orange and hunt with a bow. During gun season, you can use straight-walled cartridges, shotguns, or muzzleloaders, or pistols. You can use handguns during that season too. But it's only guns. Only guns allowed during those 2 seasons. And then during late, everyone calls it late muzzleloader season. I tend to just call it late season because during late season, you can use muzzleloader, archery, handguns, and that's it. So
why do they call it muzzleloader season if you can use handguns?
That's why I just call it late season, you know?
Yeah, that makes more sense to me.
It should be called, like, if you want to get technical.
Just not gun season.
Yeah, it should just be called.
Not rifle season.
It should just be called limited weapons late season is probably what it should be called. Go. You know, because, but you can also.
More accurately describes the season.
But you can use smokeless muzzleloaders during late season. So, and those fuckers can shoot out to like 600 yards, 700 yards.
Are you serious? Can they really?
Oh, yeah, dude. Oh, yeah. Yeah,
I had no idea.
Yeah, I had Luke Horak on from Arrowhead Weapons a while, early on in Victory Drive, and he was talking about
that. Yep.
Yeah, he was talking about his muzzleloaders that he makes, his smokeless ones, and he's saying that they were shooting sub MOA out past 500 yards, dude.
That is mind blowing.
Insane. Like he told me that, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like sub MOA at 500 yards is like, oh yeah. Oh, yeah, dude. If you're a good shooter. I mean,
my gosh.
He's like, we've shot steel out to 1,000 with those smokeless muzzleloaders.
Oh, my God.
A 45 caliber fucking bullet flying at, I can't remember the velocity on them. Probably close to 3,000 feet per second. It's got to be.
Yeah,
in order to be that, it's got to be flying. So it's like, geez.
That must take them forever to work up a load for those muzzleloaders to figure out what shoots best.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's kind of why when he builds them, he sends all that shit with the gun. So when you buy a Arrowhead Rifles smokeless muzzleloader, he sends like all the shit with it, like the loadout and all that stuff, and then you just keep buying the same bullets and the same powders, and you're good to go.
Right.
Yeah, he sends all that loadout with them. So, but yeah, those smokeless muzzleloaders are nuts, dude.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. So that's kind of the thing, too, where I'm like, are we even using muzzleloaders anymore, or are we just using single-shot rifles, honestly?
Yeah. No, exactly.
So
that's exactly what it is.
That's kind of... Even with the straight-walled cartridge thing, and it's not even straight walls in Iowa either anymore. It's just 35 caliber and above. So you can use a 35 Whalen, which is just a necked-up 30-06. To 35 cal.
Got it. Okay. So
you can use those in Iowa. It's not straight walled, obviously, but you can use them in Iowa.
Yeah,
they just changed it a few years ago, I think. But like, why even if we're allowing? Why don't we just allow rifle season? Whatever, like 223 is your minimum, if that's the minimum, like caliber. Like, why don't you just why don't we just make it rifle season and make it like single shot only? I don't know. It's like with smokeless muzzleloaders being that effective. Like, what the fuck is what are we doing?
Yeah, seriously. I mean, it sounds like it's more effective than a lot of regular rifle rounds.
Oh yeah, that smokeless muzzleloader. It's a 45 caliber bullet that can shoot farther and more accurate than a 30-06 can.
Yeah.
It just takes a little while to reload.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know. It's weird. I don't really get into the whole thing. I get people's gripes. Like I know in Virginia, you can hunt deer with dogs up there, right?
Yeah.
And that's annoying. And
dogs and any rifle larger than 23 caliber.
There you go. Yeah. So, and I get a lot of states have legitimate grievances that I totally understand. Like I understand your grievance with the dog hunting. I understand. In Illinois, I understand their grievance with the crossbow thing. I totally do. So it makes it hard for me to bitch about Iowa when there's other states out there that have, in my opinion, like legitimate grievances that should be addressed.
Yeah, well, and our rifle season opened a week ago, and it goes until the first Saturday in January.
Holy shit!
So you got guys that are running dogs 3, 4, 5 days a week, and I mean they're just out there slinging lead at anything that moves. And so you end up with all kinds of wounded deer and lots of unsafe situations.
Well, yeah, like in Iowa, it's a big tradition to go out and during gun season, you get out with your boys. They're like, all right, boys, let's go fucking push some woods, let's go conduct some deer drives.
Yeah, right.
And that's one thing. But dude, you can't like you can train a dog, but you can't really control where that dog's really running the deer and stuff. And
exactly.
Dudes getting antsy and they see something running, they're like, "Oh fuck yeah, dude!"
It's not like they're herd dogs herding the deer. They're just chasing the deer. They're chasing them as fast as they can. They want to catch that deer and chew on him and bite it and whatever. And that deer is doing everything it can to run out of there. Whereas when you have those, I'm just basing this off of videos I've seen. I've seen plenty of videos where they're doing those man drives, and it seems like it's more of a soft bump where the deer they're not running full sprint out. They're just kind of jogging, staying downwind of whoever's pushing them and making sure that they are out far enough ahead of the pushers to not get, or to feel like they're not in as much danger. But
so that's definitely the smart way to do it. Some people up here, they do some wild shit, in Iowa, but I think for the most part, I think that is really changing. When I was a kid, it was the fucking Wild West out here, dude, during gun season. Like, it was like, holy shit.
Really?
It was the Orange Army, dude. It was nuts. Like, shit was slugs flying everywhere. It's crazy. But I think, my honest opinion, I think especially with the straight walled cartridge thing, I think it has changed a lot of gun hunters in maybe at least in my area and the guys I talk to. A lot more guys are sitting in the mornings until about noon, and then like if they're getting really bored and antsy, then they'll go out and conduct a few deer drives. But they're just not they're not running them near as much as what I remembered as a kid. So
do you think that's because they feel like they can shoot further, and so they maybe don't need to?
I do, yeah, I do think that since they allowed certain calibered rifles, I just feel like since they allowed that, they're like, okay, I can shoot effectively out to about 250, 300 yards, and I just don't think they have that sense of like really urgency to just run deer when they're shooting shotguns and they're shooting pie plate sized groups out at 75 yards.
Yeah, exactly.
So
right.
I know. I know a lot of people. We see in the group chat. I see in the group chat stuff a lot too, where it's like a lot of guys kind of don't like the straight walled cartridge thing. I personally am a big fan of it because I just kind of have seen it change the mentality of certain gun groups in my area, at least. And I'm like, I'm all for that, dude. But to take it back to what you were saying, you can't, like, when deer are running from dogs, it is completely different than when they're trying to bound away from a human. They know they can run way faster than a human. Like, they see a human run through the woods, like, oh, no problem. I know this game. Bound. Good. Like, dogs, they're like, holy shit, I gotta go. Turn on the burners,
And I will say that it's not all that way, because I know there are plenty of guys that use beagles to run them, and those beagles cannot keep up with deer. So I don't know that the deer are necessarily sprinting away as fast from those smaller dogs like that. They figure out, I'm far enough out in front of them that I don't have to worry about it as much. So
yeah, that makes
in that
sense.
scenario, you're probably not going to have them sprinting, but they're still out there running around. But then there are plenty of people that do run like the bigger, faster breeds. And
yeah, in my head, I was picturing like 20 German Shepherds and Pit Bulls just running wild.
No, it's not quite like that. But I'm not super familiar with it and all the different breeds of dogs that guys use for it. And honestly, I don't have a problem with it, except for the fact that those guys who are running dogs after deer, they just don't care. They've got this mentality that dogs can't read. They don't know property boundaries, so don't get upset at my dog for running through your property and scaring all your deer off, or running through and ruining your hunt. But it's like there's no sense of like common courtesy or politeness, and I'm happy for guys to hunt their hunt however they want to hunt, then go for it. But I don't think that it's fair if your style of hunting is ruining everyone else's style of hunting and going on their private land. And we have a right to retrieve law here, so if their dog goes on your land, then they can come drive all over your land and run all over it and try and get their dog and blow all the deer out. So there's just all kinds of issues with it. If there was a way for guys to have some kind of boundary around their property or properties, if they wanted to get together with 5 other landowners and they have 8,000 contiguous acres between the 5 of them, and they can somehow know that the dogs are only going to stay on their land, then if that's the way they don't want to hunt it, then if it's legal, I'm not going to say anything about it. I'm sure it's probably fun, but they have no control over any of it. And all these other guys who have worked hard, saved up, bought hunting land, and they've put all this time and effort into managing it and doing habitat work, and then they're paying taxes on it. These other guys they drop the tailgate and on one side, and they let the dogs run through their property and try and push deer over onto the property they can hunt or whatever. I mean, it happens all the time, and I can't tell you how many hunts I've had ruined. I mean, I almost quit hunting. Thank God I found bow hunting, but I spent 2 years rifle hunting public land, and I would get there 2 hours ahead of legal shooting light, and hike way back in there and get set up, and then half an hour after sunrise, here comes a pack of dogs running through, and
sheesh. Dude, I get mad enough just dealing with people, on public land.
There's plenty of that too.
Yeah. I honestly couldn't imagine. Okay, well, just yesterday, I went out. I was just everything. All my private land spots kind of just dried up lately. It seems like, and I've just been unsuccessful. And there's this piece of public that I know that had a nice food plot. There's some standing corn in there's some end rows and stuff taken out of it. So there's some cut corn, some standing corn, some standing beans, and some brassicas. So it's like a pretty nice, really nice looking food plot. It was almost like tiered. Like the brassicas were way back, the standing beans, and then there's the corn up by the road.
Dang.
Yeah, it was nice.
Virginia doesn't do anything like that for us here.
Oh, really?
No, we don't.
So
they manage the public land here like shit.
Oh, no shit. So the side tangent, Iowa does not have very much public land, hence why Iowa also is such a hard state to draw for non-residents.
Right.
Because when non-residents come in and they soak up so much public land, then there's really nowhere for residents to really go, because there's just not very much.
Absolutely.
There's just not very much public. It's less than 1% of the state is public. So there's very little public in Iowa.
Right.
But the public land we do have in Iowa is generally pretty decent, because they do get a lot of money from non-resident hunters, the ones that draw, and from resident hunters, and from just, hunting sales and
there's a very small pool of public land to put that money towards. So.
Exactly. So it's a good and a bad. Like, our public that we do have is pretty fucking decent, I would say, compared to what I've heard from other states. But there's not a lot of it. But that's also what I think kind of makes it good, is that there's not very much of it. So the conservation organizations out there, and the Iowa DNR and the Iowa Conservation, they pour a lot of money and time and effort into putting in food
the little
plots,
bit of public that there is.
Yeah. So there's a lot of spots in public that are really nice. Granted, those food plots get hammered pretty hard, especially during archery season when guys are hunting field edges and stuff. So they're generally not hitting those public food plots until pretty late, unless it's like really cold, and then they're forced to get out there earlier to feed. But
Right.
So what I was saying is I found this piece of public that I've known about and it has a nice food plot in there. The food plot does come all the way up to the road, so it's pretty easy to see. I was driving by it one night and I saw like, I don't know, probably 25 deer out there. And,
dang.
And I'm like, shit, yeah, that's nice.
From the road?
Yeah, right. But it's a tucked away piece that doesn't get a whole lot of traffic. It's hit or miss. Some years there's a shit ton of people in there. Some years there's like nobody in there.
Interesting.
And it's a pretty fucking cool piece of public. And so I saw a bunch of deer in there.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, so I'm like, I'm gonna go hunt there. Since all my other spots have kind of dried up, I'm just gonna go sit that kind of towards the back end where I think the deer are coming from and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And I got set up out there, and it's pheasant season, and lo and behold, last hour of light, some pheasant hunters come through and start shooting all over the place, and because there's some CRP back there too. And
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm like, well, fuck me. Guess I'm out of here. So
it's just one of those things that you end up dealing with. It's public land. And, I mean, we don't have pheasants here, but we have squirrel hunters coming through, and
yep.
So you might be sitting on a ridge top looking down into a creek bottom or something, and suddenly you see 5 or 6 dudes wearing orange come walking through, and they're shooting squirrels and making a racket and having a good old time. But
yep. And obviously I love guns and gun season too, honestly. But
same.
But I do understand people's frustrations as well, because
yeah,
it's just that there's just so many more people out during gun season too. So
right.
Guys like us that are really into hunting, and we want to bow hunt as much as we can. Then when it's gun season, then we want to go out and have good experiences when we're out gun hunting. But you look around in the general public and you kind of start realizing, like, well, okay, first of all, I started realizing since I got out of, especially since I've gotten out of the Army, and kind of seeing, like, when I was a kid, I would look up to adults and be like, y'all got this thing figured out, dude. Like, you guys know everything.
Right.
This is, hell yeah. And now I'm an adult. I'm like, you guys are fucking retarded. Like, all of you, like, holy shit. Like, geez Louise.
Exactly.
So
what are we doing here, people?
Yeah. And then when gun season rolls around and you get all these, and I totally understand the gripe. I do really understand the gripe that bow hunters have with gun hunters, because there's so many people out, and with more people come a higher percentage of idiots. So
right,
I get it. It's just it does suck.
And I don't want to come across as if I'm complaining about gun season. I'm all for gun season, and I think it's great. But like you said, you get all these different asshats who don't hunt or don't do any scouting, or
yep.
They just come walk around with carrying guns and doing stupid shit. And
yep. The old poking up. I know guys that even bow hunters that go out there and they're like, 62 yards, I can make that. And they give them the old poking hope.
Oh my gosh.
I know guys do that during bow season, but during gun season, there's just a lot more guys. Like, they have their old Mossberg 500 with a fucking bird barrel on it, and they're like, 234 yards, no problem, I can do it. Or
you got guys, yeah, exactly. Or you got guys here walking around with centerfire rifles, and they're hiking up a hill, and they see a deer further up the hill, and they just pull the gun up and shoot, and they have no thought about the fact that there's no backstop behind them, and who knows what's over that hill and how far that bullet's going to go. And
yep.
They just start blasting away. We had someone that, I think it was like 3 years ago, there was a lady or a little girl died because there was some idiot on public land that was shooting like that. And he was a long ways away from her. And she was just outside in her front yard, and this bullet came flying from this public, and just wrong place, wrong time, but hit her.
Jeez, yeah.
And you just have all these idiots that they have no common sense and have no business being out there hiking around with a gun.
Yep.
Every sip of Coca-Cola brings you closer to the excitement of the FIFA World Cup 26. Because nothing compares to the joy. So grab a Coke and drink in the FIFA World Cup 26. No purchase necessary. 13 plus in 50 U.S. states and D.C. with a web-enabled device. Ends March 1st with 8 entry periods. Rules at cokeurl.com/soccer rules.
No, for sure. Honestly, it wouldn't bother me if okay. So there's some urban hunts in Iowa that I know of, and I know for a fact that those urban hunts, you have to apply for those tags, and they generally give them out. Like, they're pretty easy to get, but they do make you take a archery proficiency test. So you have to go out and you shoot like 5 arrows at 30 yards or something like that. And they're like, if you group it this much, then you're good. I'm
in a program like that here, actually.
Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about. I honestly would not be mad if they made, in order to get your gun tag, you had to take a proficiency test and, get brushed up on your hunter's safety skills every year. I don't know. I don't know if that's the right answer or not, but I probably would be mad about it. But at the same time, like, I don't know, I could see people being a
strong Second Amendment advocate. I would also feel a different way about it too. On the one hand, the hunter, like, in me would be like, yeah, that's a great idea. We want to make sure everyone's safe and you don't have a bunch of idiots running around. And the other part of me is like, okay, well, you're going to compile this database of all these hunters and the rifles they're bringing to use. And
damn it.
Who's got that database? Who's got that list? What are they doing with that list? Can other people access it? Am I going on some kind of a permanent list now? And
valid point, dude. Valid point. I didn't even think about that. See, that's what happens. That's why I like podcasting with guys like you, because I say some shit just off the cuff, and then you're like, hey, might not be a good idea. I'm like,
but I also think that it would be great if there was some kind of something that you had to pass or demonstrate that you're not a complete idiot in order to be legally hiking around the woods with a gun.
Well, and that thing is hunter's ed. Like, so you have to do hunter's education in order to get your hunting license and stuff. But it's like the majority of guys I know, they do that when they're like 12.
Right, exactly.
And then when by the time they're by the time they're like 13, 14, they fucking forget everything.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, honestly.
Or they just get so caught up in the moment and the excitement, they see a deer and they just start blasting away. They have no thought given to all of the normal gun safety rules.
Yep.
And
honestly, the best answer and the right answer is even harder to do, but it's probably the only way to really do it, and that's just to have good mentors. And my dad, when he raised me when I went out deer hunting for the first time with him, he stressed over and over and over again. Make sure whenever you pull the trigger, you know what your target is and what's behind it, and you're not just out there shooting shit to shoot shit. Like, he handed me when he bought my shotgun, he handed me a box of 20 slugs and said, "This is what you use to get sighted in practice, and then this is for the next 20 years." And there's a box of 20 shells. So it's like that was one of those things that he always instilled in me, where it's like, every shot you take, you should be 100% confident that you're going to kill what you're pointing your gun at. Whether it's a deer, whatever it is, whatever you want to kill, you better be 100% sure or 100% confident, because mistakes happen. Sometimes, shit happens sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
But
when you're out there with a firearm, that you can't afford to make a stupid mistake.
Exactly. You might miss the deer, but when you miss the deer, you better make damn sure that bullet is still going to go in a safe direction, so you're not going to hit anyone else.
You might be shaking and your adrenaline's going, and you rush the shot or jerk the trigger or whatever, but you better not be counting on that one 3-inch wide tree to stop your bullet. You better have a big hill behind the deer or your target, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Or
exactly.
shooting downhill into a flat bottom or
Yep. We never took shot. We generally wouldn't take shots. If the deer's on the crest of the hill, and it's like, well, if I miss, then it goes past that hill. Do I know what's behind that hill? If you don't know what's behind that hill, then you better make sure that deer either comes closer to you, so you have that hill as a backstop, or you're just not taking the shot, kind of thing.
Right. Exactly.
So it's one of the where I live. There's not a whole lot of hills, so it's pretty easy. But it's like that's kind of one of those things. Just general gun safety, like you're saying, and all that stuff. There's a lot of people that get out there that just either forget in the moment or whatever it is.
Right.
And when you have a gun in your hands, those one mistake could cost someone their life. So it's like, it's not a fucking toy. It's not something to take lightly.
Exactly.
It's not, it's something that is to be taken seriously. And having a good mentor is honestly probably one of the only things we can really do, I guess, and hope for hope other people have that.
Yeah. It's the difficult thing, at least around here, is that there's not a lot of ground that you can hunt with a gun. They're like within an hour and a half, there's 2 pieces of public. They're not huge, but because of their proximity to the DC area, they get absolutely pounded. I mean, it's like days where you could fit 20 cars in the parking lot, and the parking lot's full, and there are guys parking on the road. And
yep, that's why I just leave. Oh my gosh. No,
exactly. Well, and that's what I kept dealing with come gun season, and so at the time, all I had was public to hunt, and I was about ready to hang it up and be like, nope, this isn't for me. And then I got my first bow and got permission on some small, like 5 and 10 acre pieces closer to the house, and that's when my passion for hunting really grew. That's
awesome. And I'm really glad you did that, because if you didn't, then we probably wouldn't be sitting here talking, honestly.
Yeah, that's right.
So I'm glad you did find.
No, I am too.
I'm glad you found bow hunting, dude. But one place I do, I'm just super excited to go out and gun hunt again, is like out west.
Yes.
Like, oh my gosh, dude! Like, I want to go out and do rifle elk, rifle mule deer, rifle pronghorn again, and all that stuff. Because you just got earlier this year you went to Wyoming, right, for pronghorn?
Yeah. Yep.
How'd that go?
Yeah, I went with a couple of buddies, or a few buddies. That urban archery type program I was telling you that we have around here that I do.
Yep.
So ours is a little bit more structured or organized. I think than what Iowa's is. This county that puts it on, they have thousands and thousands of park acres. Oh. And it's not like a city park where everything's manicured and everything. It's just areas that have been designated park areas that they can never develop in.
Kind of like state parks type thing, or like state forest type shit.
Yeah, but they're county owned.
Okay, gotcha. I guess.
And so,
trying to equate it to the stuff up here.
Yeah, I think the 2 pieces that I can hunt are right next to each other along a river, and I think it's 3,000 acres total, or something like that.
Okay.
But it's real long and narrow along the river. So, anyway, we all have there are 15 or 20 different groups, and so my group can hunt that area. And so I've become good friends with my group leader, and then 2 of the other guys who are in that same group. So the 4 of us decided to do this hunt out in Wyoming. So we have been buying points for a few years, and
how many points did you need to draw?
So three of us had 3 points, and one had 1 point. And so Wyoming takes the average. You can apply as a group.
Okay.
And then they take the average points, and that's how many you're applying with. So I guess we had an average of 2.5, I think.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So after the 3 years of applying or whatever, this year was our 4th year, and instead of just getting points, we applied for this unit. We spent a lot of time going back and forth and doing some e-scouting, and then one of the guys in particular, he's very analytical, and so he kind of took the reins and did the brunt of the research as far as like where to go. He
nice.
kind of presented a few different units to us based on the breakdown. I think he used one of those Western application websites.
Oh, like Go Hunter, fucking
something like that.
Yeah.
Well, they'll give you a breakdown of every unit, and then you can kind of filter it out by how many points you have. And so they'll show you your odds of drawing, and they'll show you amount of public land, and then they'll give you like a rating for public access, because out west you deal with a lot of that landlocked public.
Yep.
All kinds of different factors that they kind of analyze or present to you to make your decision as far as where you want to go, which was super cool. I still don't know as much about it as I'd like to, but it was still the amount that I did learn was really cool and also complicated and somewhat frustrating from my perspective. It's like all these millions of acres of public that you just can't hunt because you can't cross corners.
Yeah. There's actually a huge lawsuit going on right now in Wyoming about that.
I heard about that. I don't know where that stands right now, and it sounded like it was kind of nuanced. It wasn't just an open blanket if this passes, then you'll be able to cross corners now. I think is
much more nuanced than that. I think the first court ruled in favor of the corner crossers.
Okay.
But then another court, I don't know. When you talk legal shit like that, it gets, like you said, very nuanced, because they're like, oh, so now we're setting a precedence so people can just cut corners and jump corners like this all the time and willy-nilly and trespass and all this other shit. So, I don't know. Yeah, it's much more nuanced than that. But
I heard something about he used an A-frame ladder and set it up.
Yep.
And something like that. Anyways.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Because there's two corners that literally met. He's like, okay, well, fucking bada bing, bada boom. I didn't touch anything. I didn't touch any of their private land. So I just jumped up and
a lot of those private landowners will come in and they'll put the corner fencing in just right there where you would cross, and so you can't touch my fence, you can't cross the corner. And so he was like, okay, if you're gonna be stupid like that and just put up 4 sections of fence here to where I can't walk through that, then I'm just gonna bring a ladder and climb over it and never touch it.
Because that is one loophole that a lot of people have. Like, if you have access to a helicopter, they can drop you in. You know?
Yeah, right.
So that's legal because airspace isn't owned. So you're fine to do that. But they're like, I'm in the air on this ladder. So it's
were
fine.
you listening to the drone deer recovery podcast where he was talking about bringing deer out with the drone? As soon as he started saying that, I was like, oh, man, there's such a huge market out west.
Holy shit.
If you can hook some dude into a harness and lift him up and fly him across the corner and drop him down, then, I mean, it's the same thing as a helicopter, right?
Oh, yeah, dude. To get a helicopter, you need to probably pay, I don't fucking know how much a helicopter ride costs. $1,000
I'm sure it's,
$2,000 grand, probably.
depending on probably depending on the state and the trophy quality and whatnot, those helicopter pilots are probably going to jack up those prices.
Yeah.
You might end up paying
So the
$5,000 just to get picked up and flown 100 yards.
So with the drone, you're like, okay, yeah, I'll pick you up and drop you off. Fucking give me $800. Like, oh shit, deal.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
That'd be awesome.
I think there's definitely a market there for it.
Definitely. So okay, so
Anyway,
yeah, back to, got a little sidetracked there, but
yeah.
but yeah, so you're analyzing all this shit and
Right. And so, I mean, it was a very cool experience to go through that because it's completely new and different versus hunting out here.
oh yeah, was that your first time
so,
out west?
No, I the first year I hunted out there was Colorado. I did over-the-counter archery elk.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
On I guess it was the western side of Colorado. I didn't have any success, but it was a great trip. I saw elk and had some in range, but just no legal bulls.
Yep.
So this was my second western trip.
Nice. Okay.
So we ended up settling on a unit, and then we all kind of, just out of excitement, we all ended up buying new rifles for this trip and got them set up. And around here, there's not that many places that you can shoot very far. I think like most of the ranges around here are going to be 100 yards.
Oh, really? Damn.
Yeah, I mean, everything's just too tight. The land's too broken up. It's tough to find anywhere that you can shoot out much further than that. So we ended up going out to a range in the mountains that has, I think it was a 500-yard range.
Oh, yeah.
So we ended up getting everything dialed in out there, which was fun. We all went out there and spent an afternoon there and shooting, and that gave us so much confidence going into this hunt.
I bet.
Just knowing that we could make those types of shots, because most of us haven't taken a shot out past 200. Some had never taken a shot past 100. So
Yep.
just having that confidence alone, knowing that we could accurately make longer shots, was fun and also just a huge confidence booster.
Oh yeah, you got to do that, dude. Like, even with your archery stuff, it's like, practice out as far as you possibly can, knowing that your effective range is maybe cut in half, whatever.
Right.
But
right. Exactly.
Like you said, that confidence to know, like, if I have to take a, 500-600 yard shot, I feel confident because I've done it before. I've been here before. I know I can make that shot if I I hold solid and do all these things, right? So that's awesome.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was fun. We did that about I think it was about a month before our trip. So that once we did that, that was like the moment that everyone really got excited about it. So we were talking about how, like, logistics of the trip and how to do everything, and we were talking about driving, and it was just going to be such a long drive. I think it was going to come out to almost 36 hours of driving one way.
Son of a bitch.
And so we were only going to go for a week. So in the end, we ended up deciding to fly. So then we had to kind of do our research there as far as what we had to do to fly with a firearm.
Mm-hmm.
So it was definitely a great learning experience for future Western rifle hunts.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But doing it with a group of guys was also great too, because we were able to all chip in and get a big Airbnb out there, and
nice.
So that was a lot better than getting a hotel, say, because we could have room to spread our gear out and bring animals back to get them get processed or whatever.
Yep.
So we ended up flying into Denver and then rented 2 SUVs and drove up to Wyoming. It was a few hours drive. And then that first night we got there, we got everything unloaded, and then we went to go just drive through a couple of the pieces of public that we had e-scouted. It was the day before opener, and we saw antelope everywhere. So we were fired up. There just antelope everywhere. The second piece we pulled in, as soon as we pulled in, there was a pretty good buck right, like crossing the road in front of us. I don't know, maybe 40 yards away from us, with a couple does, just following them. The does came across, and then he came across. And we were like, this is going to be so easy. We're going to be tagged out on day one, and we're going to have to move our flights up, and we'll be heading back. And I think that Saturday was the opening day for deer season, archery season here in Virginia. So we were like, yeah, we'll be back and ready, get some rest, and be ready for Saturday. So next morning, that night, we were over dinner. We came up with our game plan, who was going to go where, and who was going to drop people off, and all that good stuff. So we got up early and we got out there, and oh my gosh, it was insane. The number of trucks and vehicles driving around. I mean, it was an hour before legal shooting light, and there's just trucks bouncing all over the place, driving all over, and people getting dropped off, and people already set up, and it was like there was nowhere to go. So 3 of them ended up going on the same piece. One went off by himself, and then the 2 others stayed together. And I drove up the hill to another spot, and I was going to jump out there and hike in a little ways. And I got up there and got over the hill, and there's 6, 7 trucks out down the road in front of me, and no way to get through, and people set up on either side of the road. And I just texted the group. I was like, screw this. I'm not doing this. And so we had driven past a piece of public that we didn't see any cars there, and so we thought that it was going to be like that everywhere. But when we got there and saw all these cars, I decided I wasn't going to just sit around in this sea of antelope hunters and hope that one managed to get through everything and all of them and get to me. So I went back down the road. It was like 10 minutes back down the road, and I got over there, and there was not a single person there. So I parked, and it was by the time I parked, it was already getting to that gray light and starting to get light. And so I got my pack out and got everything ready and started hiking in. And I had probably hiked about 300 yards in. I got across this little creek, and I was starting to come up a little bit of a rise. And I just stopped because I could see above all the sagebrush. And I started glassing over to my right and immediately picked up an antelope doe. And so I just kind of dropped my pack and my rifle, and I just started glassing. And soon I started to see another and another and another. They were probably about 800 or 900 yards away. And so with the terrain and everything, I figured that I could gain a little elevation, and then they wouldn't be able to see me at all, and I could go across this rim and just kind of keep poking my head out to check and make sure that they're still there, and get range them to see how close I could get. And then whenever I was where I felt like I could make a good shot, then I would just try and belly crawl up and shoot one. And one of them was a really good buck. And so I was like, this is pretty easy. So I got up there and I started making my way along the rim and poked out and got a range, and it was still like 680 yards. And I went back in and I did a big loop around and poked back out again and ranged, and it was like 510 or something. So I just kind of kept like leapfrogging. I just sneak out on the rim to where I could see them and get a range on them. And finally, I think I was at like 260 or something like that. And I decided that was probably about as close as I could safely get. And so I started belly crawling up, and they're down in this creek bottom type area. So I'm belly crawling up to the edge and pulling my pack with me, and push my pack out in front of me, and I'm starting to get everything situated where I can use that for a rest, and I'm laying prone, and I start hearing an antelope blowing, and I look up to my left, and most of the herd was down in the bottom, but this lone doe was sitting up on this point up above me and just looking at me, and she just started blowing, and
you bitch.
I looked exactly. I looked down the bottom, and antelope are starting to run up this draw toward where she's at, and just one by one, and the buck's kind of toward the end of the group, and he's feeding and not really paying close attention, so I'm trying to get one last range on him to make sure I have it and get dialed in. As these antelope in front of him are like one by one taking off running up this drainage. And finally, there's just him and two other does down there, and one of the does looks up and sees that they're all running, and she kind of is looking around and unsure, and so she kind of takes off at like a trot a little bit up there, and then he looks up, and so now all of them are on high alert, but not really sure what's going on, because this one single doe up there is the only one who saw me. All the others are just reacting to her. Mm-hmm. So they kind of like slowly are, you know how when deer are kind of not sure what's going on and they think something's wrong, they're like kind of like high step, and they have their head up and ears back, and so that buck and doe were kind of doing that, and they started making their way into the bottom of this draw that went up on this big plateau. So as soon as they disappeared, I grabbed my rifle, and I just left my pack and spotting scope and everything, and I just started sprinting along this rim. I was going to try and get over to up to the head of that draw, because they didn't seem like they were going too fast, so I thought that I could get close to the head of that draw, and if they popped out, then I could get a shot there. And so I took off sprinting, and I come over this little rise. I have to go down, drop down into that same creek bottom, wound around, and kind of went between me and them. So I was going to have to drop down in that creek bottom, get across that, and get up the face of the next hill to be able to get a shot at it. And so right as I crest that hill, I look down, and there's a buck and a doe down there in that bottom, probably 60 yards away. And so I'm like mid-step, and I just hit the dirt as hard and as fast as I could, and pull my binos up, and couldn't get a great look at him. And I was shaking from running like that, and the adrenaline and everything. And so it took me a little bit to get steadied, and I finally sat down and put my elbows on my knees, and I was able to mostly hold my binos still enough, and I got to look at him, and I decided that he was a pretty decent buck. And in the meantime, they kind of went up across this little berm and down into that creek bottom, and they were kind of slowly jogging away. So I grabbed my rifle and kind of just sitting there on my butt with my knees as a rest. I kind of got set up and ready to go, and got one last range, and I think he was at 200. I think it was just under 240 yards. So I had gotten one of the. Actually, we talked about it. The VX3 HD scope from Loophole.
Yep.
When I was getting that thing set up, I was kind of asking for recommendations, and that one was, excuse me, that one was within my price range, and it looked good. So they have that
solid scope, dude. It really
man, it's I love it.
Yeah.
It's not too much money. It could be a lot of money for some people, but I wanted something that was going to be solid, and so...
Because it was the VX3 HD that you got?
Yeah.
Okay, and what was the magnification range, real quick? Again.
I think it was... Oh, man. It's like 3.5 to...
Okay.
9 or something like that.
Yep.
I can't remember exactly what it is.
Yeah, because the Leupold scopes, they go like VX3. It goes by like multiples of 3, so it'd be like 3 to 12 or
maybe that's what it is. Yeah,
it's probably like 3 to 12.
It probably goes to 12.
3 to 9 or 6 to 24, stuff like that. And then
right.
VX5 HD is multiples of 5, so it's like 2 to 10.
Okay,
whatever,
gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So. That's kind of how that's the differentiator
I see.
of that. But the VX3s are, in my opinion, probably the best in that price range.
Yeah, no, it's a fantastic scope. It's probably one of the best scopes I've ever had.
Yep.
But I love that custom dial system they have.
Oh,
so when you order that thing, you send them all this information. You send them the barrel length of the rifle you're going to be shooting them out of. You send them what specific bullet and load you're shooting. You can send.
Yep.
You can give them the average elevation you're going to be shooting at. They take all this stuff and they make that custom dial for you.
Yeah, and if you want to get really randy, you can actually take it to the chronograph and actually get a true chrono on it too, and send that.
Right. I just went by what the speed listed on the manufacturer's box.
That's what I did too. So, because what is your barrel length on your rifle?
I think it's 24 maybe.
Yeah. What caliber is it?
That's a 6.5 Creedmoor.
Okay, yeah, it's probably 24 then. I know if it's a 300 Win Mag, I think those are standard at like 26.
Yeah.
So,
I'm pretty sure it was 24.
I think the test barrels. I know I Googled it on mine, like because before I ordered my custom dials system for mine, I was like, I Googled it, like what do they use? What's the barrel length they use for the test barrels for like at Hornady? And I Googled it and found it, and they're like, oh yeah, all of our bullets get tested at 24 inches. And I'm like, oh, perfect. Mine's a 24-inch barrel, so it's got to be close.
Nice.
So,
yeah,
I'd say you're right in there, too, with that. So, because the boxes can be deceptive depending on your barrel length. If you had a 6.5 Creedmoor and you're rocking a 26-inch barrel on that sucker,
then it's going to be faster than what the test load is.
Correct. Yep, exactly. So, but that's awesome. Yeah, that custom dials turret they're awesome. They're game changers, dude. So
for sure. And so I had actually just gotten my custom dial in the mail a couple of days before we went out to that range in the mountains where we were shooting at 500. And so I was able to try that thing out, and I felt so confident with that I just range it, dial it, and I was dead nuts. So
that's
it
awesome.
It was sweet. So anyway, he was out there at like 230, and by the time I dropped my rangefinder and got back on the gun, I would guess he was probably another 10 yards or so. So he stopped and kind of turned broadside to look back toward me, and I just took a deep breath and started exhaling and squeezed the trigger, and he took off hauling ass, and he kind of got around this bend in the creek. And so I jumped up and I just ran sideways to where I could see around it, and then I spotted him. He was just standing there, probably ran about 90 yards or so, and he just stopped and stood there. And I think that he was dead already, but basically it was a lethal shot.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem was the way he was going, he only had like 200 yards until he got off the public.
Oh.
And the doe looked back and saw me, and so she took off running off the public. And so, but he never looked back. He just kind of stopped and was standing there with his butt facing straight toward me. So I decided that the best thing to do was probably to get up on top of the hill, kind of parallel to him, and belly crawl up there and peek over and put one more in him before he could walk off the public. So I snuck out of range and dropped down across the creek and up on top of that next mesa where that doe had originally been blowing at me on my first stalk, and I just ran up as far as I could and then dropped down and belly crawled through the sagebrush for the last 20 or so yards and was able to spot him standing there. He had taken he'd probably gone 20, 30 more yards and just slow moving. And at this point, it was only a 100-yard shot. So
okay.
Just pulled the rifle up and sent one more into him, and he dropped on the spot. So
nice. That's awesome, dude.
So yeah, it was but so all that happened in a matter of 20 minutes.
Jeez.
So
dude, isn't it nuts how fast it goes when you're out there?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
All that money and time and planning and everything was effectively for a 20-minute hunt.
Yeah.
And I don't regret it at all. It was so much fun. So I guess to get back to your point though, that Western hunting with a rifle is an entirely different game.
Mm-hmm.
And I absolutely love it. And I can't wait to get back out there and, like you said, chase some elk, a mule deer, and I would definitely go on another pronghorn hunt too.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna take my daughter out west someday for pronghorn, because it's really not a matter of if you're gonna see animals. It's a matter of like if you can get close enough. So
yeah, right.
You're gonna see pronghorn. They're open country animals. They utilize their eyesight more than anything. So they'd like to live in the open, so you can see them.
Yep.
It's just a matter of if you can get close enough or not. So.
Yep, that's the challenge there.
Yep. And I think it's awesome to take first time hunters or, younger kids out. Like pronghorn hunting is, in my opinion, I think it's the best entry into Western game. Yeah,
no, I agree. After having just done it for the first time, I absolutely agree. Are you buying points for her right now?
Yeah, I am. I think I just bought my third point. Yeah, my third point this year.
For what state?
Wyoming. Sorry.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Wyoming's the only state I've actually been accruing for.
Gotcha.
I should probably be buying points in like Colorado and stuff too, but I don't know.
Wyoming and Colorado are the two that I'm building points in right now.
Yeah. I just don't find a point in hunting Arizona because I don't think I'll ever draw like an elk hunt in Arizona or anything like that. And New Mexico has some awesome hunting, but it's all random. There's no points or anything. So
it's lottery. It's not. Yeah. It's not so much a point system.
Right. So I'll maybe not next year, but starting in 2025, I'll probably draw either elk or pronghorn for Wyoming. So that's kind of what I'm banking on.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, my 2024 season is going to be full with Wyoming bear hunting and then Africa.
Right. So that's going to be a hell of a season.
Oh, dude, I'm so stoked for it.
I can only imagine.
Holy shit, it's going to be sweet.
I can't wait to hear all about those hunts.
Oh, it's going to be, I'm beyond stoked for next year. I'm really looking forward to it. Never been bear hunting before, so I'm really excited to get out there and see that. And I've never hunted Wyoming before, so that'd be cool. And then going back to Africa is going to be an absolute fucking blast. So
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. So, with your Pronghorn, what kind of ammo were you using out there?
So I was using there's 130 grains from Federal. It's the Barnes TSX.
Oh, okay.
That's the bullet that's in that one. It's just a copper, 100% copper bullet that has like a deep hollow point, basically, so it'll expand quite a bit when it hits.
Yeah. Were you? Did you pass through? You probably passed through them just because it's a Pronghorn.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. I do know that though. Like, I guess personally, like for Pronghorn and stuff, I like more frangible bullets. Like I was using Hornady Precision Hunters, and I know I would not use those for elk. I know a lot of people do and they like them, but they're pretty frangible because they expand so fast. But man, when I shot my Pronghorn at 77 yards. So I was like damn near in bow range for a lot of guys, So, but
I think there's plenty of guys who will take that shot with a bow. There with Pronghorn.
Yep, for sure. So I shot him pretty damn close with my rifle, but he just dropped like a sack of potatoes, and it just transferred all that kinetic energy so well because I would equate like the Hornady Precision Hunters to shooting expandable broadheads, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. Okay.
In what you were shooting, I would compare that more to like a fixed blade.
Yeah.
With
I would agree with
the solid copper and stuff. They're super deep penetrating. They hold their form really well. They retain, I think, upwards of like 90% of their bullet weight. So they have really high retention rate. So they penetrate really deep. I think the Hornady bullets, a lot of times they will shed a significant amount of their bullet weight.
Yeah, that makes sense. But they're probably doing a ton of damage initially.
So much damage, dude. So much damage.
I bet.
It's nuts. So like with elk hunting, you want, in my opinion, more of a deeper penetrating bullet. But with Pronghorn and like mule deer and stuff like that, you can definitely get away with shooting a more frangible bullet, and you would be the devastation that comes with inside that cavity from those frangible bullets. Just because when they don't, I don't like to say that they grenade, but they like just like the temporary wound channel that they create is so substantial. And then you have all the petals when they rip off, you have all this other like almost subsidiary, I guess, wound channels that are going out all over the place. So they're just devastating on thinner skinned game and I guess small to medium sized game. They're absolutely terrorizers.
Wow. So. Yeah. Well, it definitely seems like they're a more delicate animal, and so you can probably more easily get away with using something like that versus maybe a mule deer, or especially like an elk. But question for you: when you were getting ready for your antelope hunt, you're using the 6.5 Creedmoor. Did you find a lot of variation between different bullets as far as where they would hit your target?
With the same ammo, you're saying, or
no, different ammo, like maybe same bullet weight, but different brands or different types of bullets.
Yeah,
because I that's one thing I encountered. The stuff I ended up hunting with was like $60 a box, and so I was like, well, I'm gonna practice and get sighted in with, or at least get pretty close, and then if I have to tweak it a little bit with this more expensive bullet, then at least I'm already close, and then I can just maybe adjust it a few clicks here, right or left or up or whatever, and then I'm good.
Yep.
But
yeah, I would definitely. So when I bought mine, I grabbed like 4 different brands. I think I bought some Hornady Precision Hunter, and that's what I was thinking. I'm like, I really want these at group well because I want to use those for the hunt. But then I bought some Norma, and that was a little bit cheaper there, like 130 something grains. So a little bit lighter than what the Precision Hunters were. Those are 143 grains. So I bought some Norma ammo. That was a little bit cheaper. I bought some, what else? I think I bought Hornady Black, which is just the same company, just different style bullet. Bought some Hornady Black. I think that was 140 grains. And I bought, what else did I buy? I don't think I bought any Federal stuff. I can't remember what the other ones were. Just some other cheaper ones. I think I bought some Remington shit. I bought some like really cheap ones, basically to do like what you said. I wanted to get pretty close to zero with the cheap stuff, and then tweak it with the more expensive stuff, I guess. And I bought the Norma as like a wild card because I'm like, if this group's well, then maybe I'll buy that because it's a little bit cheaper and whatnot.
Yeah,
I've never hunted with Norma ammo before, but I've heard pretty decent things. I did see, so basically, to get to the point of the question, I did see some variation with a lot of that stuff. The Norma ammo it wasn't bad by any means. It just wasn't as good as Hornady. Hornady, I will give them this, like, even though I might not love the fact that their bullets are a little bit more frangible, I guess, when I'm generalizing like that. But they are fucking accurate, dude. Like the Precision Hunter, those things, I think out of a whole box, because I shot probably, once I got dialed in, I trained, I probably shot like, 5 or 6 boxes of Precision Hunter just to really get dialed in and really feel good about myself. I don't know. I think I didn't have very much variation between there. I might have had one or two flyers out of the all four boxes I had. So it was really good. And when
you're able to go from one brand to another and not have any real.
Oh no, I did have. So between the 130 grains and the 143s and stuff, there was some. It was different. Out to 100 or two. So I zeroed at 200 at 200 yards. I mean, it was for probably maybe a couple inches of drop. Like so obviously the 130s are flying a little bit faster. So the 143s, they dropped. They were off. I would say probably maybe a couple inches or so. So there's some variation there. I wouldn't say it was a lot, just because the 6.5 Creedmoor, it does cook pretty quick in general. Right. So yeah.
Okay, so here's why I'm asking, because I got like the Winchester Deer Season XP. I think they're 130 grains.
Okay.
So same bullet weight, and I sighted in with those, and then switched over to the Federal Premium with these Barnes TSX bullets, and I was grouping them, all of these Federal with the Barnes TSX. I was grouping them well, but they're 8 inches away at 100 yards.
Oh, shit. Huh.
And I've never, ever in my life experienced anything like that, where at 100 yards there will be that much difference from one bullet to another that are supposedly the same bullet weight. The Deer Season XP were grouping pretty well, and the Federal Premium were grouping well, but they were from the same barrel. They were hitting 8 inches apart at 100.
What did you shoot first?
I shot the Deer Season XP.
Okay. Did you let your barrel cool down at all before you shot the?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
Okay. Huh. What the fuck? No, I didn't find that very like that big of a variation. I think between all the different bullet weights that I shot is all within just a few inches. Like it wasn't that.
Yeah.
drastic,
No.
honestly.
It was very strange. I mean, I've zeroed plenty of guns, and I've never had two bullets that are basically that say they're the same weight hit so far from each other out of the same barrel.
So were
at 100 yards.
Was the federal ammo dropping more than the Winchesters, or
it
vice
was?
Versa? It was, okay.
So the federal was shooting probably I'm going to say 4 o'clock and about 8 inches from the Winchester.
Huh. Damn. No, I didn't. I didn't have that much variation in mine, but I didn't shoot that ammo either. I didn't shoot any.
Yeah, right.
I didn't shoot any federal, and I didn't shoot any Winchester. I don't know. That seems kind of drastic, but
that's what I thought. So I didn't know if that's a common thing with the 6.5 Creedmoor or what. But
no,
I mean it groups
so.
Great with whatever I have it dialed into. But whatever it's zeroed with, it shoots those fantastically. But I know now that I can't switch between the two bullets. If I want to shoot the deer season XP, then I need to go zero in with those before I take it out.
Mm-hmm. I suppose that's probably why Leupold wants like the manufacturer name and all that information before you get your CDS too.
Yeah, right.
So. Yeah, no, that's kind of nuts. It seems kind of significant to me. But
I agree. That's exactly what I thought.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've never had a gun shoot like that.
No, I haven't either. Honestly, I mean, I've had some pretty significant. When you're talking, when you have a significant change in grains, but that makes sense.
Right, but they're both 130 grains.
That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me unless it's just like the difference in metals they're using. They're flying that much differently, but I don't.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was maybe the shape of the bullet, maybe something to do with the aerodynamics of the bullet shape.
Were they both ballistic tips? So they both have like the little plastic piece in the tip of it?
No, they weren't. The Federal Premium are not. They're solid copper all the way to the nose.
Oh, and they're just hollowed out in the tip of the nose?
Yeah.
Well, that makes a little more sense then. Because everything I shot was ballistic tip besides the cheap shit. Like the really cheap shit that I bought.
Gotcha.
That was not ballistic tip, but it's also just lead. So it's just solid lead.
Right, gotcha.
But that was just my getting close, like getting on paper kind of shit. And for funsies, I guess. But that maybe makes a little more sense just because the Winchester XPs, those are ballistic tips, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So that I don't know, honestly, that does kind of make a little more sense then if one's going to be basically a small hollow point and one's ballistic tipped. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but still, I was surprised that it was such a drastic difference.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, I guess I'd just keep shooting the federal shit.
Well, I'm thinking I'll keep it at what it's set to now until I run out of the federal stuff, but I'm thinking I might switch over to that deer season XP because it was grouping fine.
Mm-hmm. It's way cheaper.
But it's like $30 cheaper per box of 20. So
yep, and those deer season Winchester bullets, I've also heard are a little bit more frangible. They're almost a little bit more like the Hornadies, I think.
Okay,
from what
gotcha.
I've heard from people. I've never shot them, but I've heard from other people. I've shot a lot of them, and a lot of people love that. Like a lot of people really like the fact that it sheds a lot of bullet weight and just creates such massive wound channels.
Yeah, well, I mean, it would be perfect if you've got a deer quartering away. If you can tuck it back in there behind the back rib and let it go up through all the good stuff and do all that damage.
Oh, yeah.
That deer is going to drop.
Oh, yeah.
Or be down in no time.
Yep.
But you're not going to probably get an exit hole. If you're in thick stuff, you might want something a little heavier, not as frangible to make sure you have an exit and more to be able to track.
Yep.
But
yeah, I know Perry Batten, he shoots a lot. He shoots some Winchester deer season XPs a lot. I think he shoots them a lot.
Yeah, he's probably dropping them in a field though where there's probably almost no tracking job.
Yep. Exactly. Because I would see him working for Mark Drury and stuff. He's like because I've had him on the podcast a few times too, and
yeah, no,
I fucking love
I've
talking
listened
to
to him on here. Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, he's the shit. He's
Perry's great,
really good dude. But he's like, yeah, we shoot so many because they have to do so much doe management, and with Iowa has that late season rifle, like extra late season rifle antlerless deer only season. And he's like, dude, they lay the dick down on some does, and he gets a lot of really good data from shooting whitetail does with I think he really likes that 6.8 Western round. And he's like, dude,
I was just gonna say, I think he said like that latest rifle he got. I think didn't he say he's killed like 70 some deer with that?
Yeah,
and he's only had it for
a few years,
a short time.
Yeah, yep. Maybe a few years.
That's crazy.
Maybe just 1 year. I don't know. But I don't want to misquote him, but I want to say they shoot.
No, I know.
They shoot a lot of does every year just because they're
heavily managing that population.
Oh yeah, because they want to get as close to that 1-to-1 ratio as you can.
Absolutely.
So it's like that's awesome. And if they have the opportunity, and they're partnered with I think they're partnered with Silencer Central now too. Pretty sure it sounds essential. So he's like, anyway, they all have suppressors now, and they're like, dude, it's a fucking game changer.
I bet they can probably sit there on a big field and shoot 3, 4, 5, 10 deer in a night.
Oh yeah, he's like, dude, it's so awesome. He's like, especially from a box blind, he's like, you stick the barrel out, and you don't like. It doesn't fucking make you want to pass out after you shoot. It's like, he's like, and then the deer, they just drop in the field, and if they do run, they don't run very far at all. And then, it doesn't spook that many other deer. If they're, a couple 100 yards away, they're just going to go, they don't get that spook. So they still come out to the food plot and he's just dropping does left and right. So that's awesome. But
that's amazing.
Yeah. But I know he really likes them deer season bullets a lot. So
yeah, no, I've had good success with them. I use the deer season XP. I use the 300 blackouts when I go down to Georgia pig hunting. And,
okay.
I didn't shoot anything this past winter when I went down there, but the previous year I was using those and shot 3 pigs, and all of them were dead within 20 yards of where I hit them. So
nice.
I think two of them dropped in their tracks, and one of them ran like 20 yards through the palmettos. But it devastated all 3 of them, and they were decent sized pigs too.
Do you eat the wild pigs?
We have. It's not my favorite.
No? Okay. I've heard mixed reviews about wild pigs.
So, when we got down there the first time, we were talking to so all their wildlife management areas have a resident caretaker, or at least all the ones that we've been to so far. We've been to a handful of different ones. And whenever we can, we try to track him down, and we've usually ended up running into him somewhere out there. And we've talked to a couple who say, yeah, they're great, and they've got specific ways to cook them up, but then others are just like, nope, drag them in a ditch and leave them.
Yeah.
Shoot them all.
Yep.
So
yeah, I've heard that from some buddies in Texas and stuff too. I think the thing I've heard the most is we keep the small ones and then toss the big ones. The big ones, when they get old, they just get gross, and they're eating everything. When they're young, they're still eating decent, they're not eating complete trash. I guess the young small ones, they're good to eat. The big ones, fucking throw them things. They fucking suck.
Yeah. So I shot one that was probably 60 pounds dressed. So not a huge pig, but decent size, enough to make doing the work to get the meat worth it. So we quartered it up and brought it back in the cooler, and my buddy and I made sausage out of it, and it was good. I mean, it wasn't my favorite, but it was definitely good enough that you could eat it. But it definitely took a lot of like that breakfast sausage seasoning.
Oh yeah.
I think I don't remember what brand it was, but you get those like bags of like jerky seasoning or sausage seasoning or whatever, and so we got some of that, and it took quite a bit of that seasoning, but it tasted really good like a lot better than I expected wild pig to taste.
Yeah.
So.
No, that makes sense. I mean,
but I imagine everything. I imagine if you shoot one of the bigger ones, it would probably taste a lot worse.
Yeah. Yeah, they're so destructive too. Like I know guys in Texas are just like, dude, fucking.
Oh yeah, they're devastating ecosystems.
Oh, it's insane.
All over the South and the coast and wherever they are, basically.
Yeah. I couldn't even imagine if wild pigs made it up to Iowa, dude.
Oh geez.
Oh my gosh, just millions of acres just destroyed. That'd be nuts.
When we're down there in Georgia for that pig hunt each year, you drive along the road and just the whole, like you'll see like whole fields just that looks like someone was just like throwing hand grenades or dropping bombs in it. They're just completely ripped up, and I can only imagine what that would be like for a farmer.
Oh,
I mean, it'd
be devastating. You'd plant your crops and then you go out there and be like, "Oh my gosh, are you serious?"
Yeah,
it's all gone.
I mean, they're rooting through ditches and stuff, and looks like they're like making it. They're altering the waterways and stuff by doing that, and causing all kinds of issues. And so they just want them. They want them shot. So we always go down there every year as soon as Georgia's deer season ends, and spend a couple of days down there trying to shoot pigs. So
yeah, I need to go pick up.
It's a good time. We eat some good food and have fun trying to get on some hogs.
I want to go hog hunting so bad in like Texas or somewhere, or Georgia or anywhere.
Yeah, no.
Good time.
What I really want to do is one of those Gila hunts.
Oh yeah,
where you get to hang out the side of a little helicopter and they'll fly you along with them as they're running and.
Oh yeah!
Just try and drop them in the tracks.
Yep. I'd buy a AR platform, fucking 308, so fast, and let her eat.
Yep, exactly. Have a few mags up there with you.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those guys are shooting just like the shotguns with slugs out of them.
Yeah,
the extended tubes, and
I think Fred Eichler does that all the time.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, I think he even goes and hunts coyotes like that. He'll shoot them with a shotgun out of a helicopter with like double-aught buck or something like that too.
That's wild.
Yeah, I mean that's cool. I think he'll do because he has a ranch in Colorado. I think he'll do that, like for coyotes and stuff too. Like, I'm like, fuck yeah,
nice.
That's so cool. But yeah,
that would be awesome.
I've seen that too, where they go there with their shotguns and just lay the dick down. Like that's pretty cool.
Exactly.
That's cool.
Man, it looks like fun.
Yeah, it does. But well, hey, dude, we've been going on about 2 hours now. So.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. Time flies, dude.
Well, it's been fun.
Yeah, it has. So we'll go ahead and close her out. Do you have anything you want to close with here?
No, just good luck to everyone out there. There's still season left, and keep grinding away at it. If you're not tagged out yet, I know I will be. Jake, I hope you are able to seal the deal on a nice one out there.
Thanks, man.
And I guess we'll just keep watching everything else the team does too. And
yeah. Yep.
It's fun to follow everyone's season.
It is. It's a blast. I know I've got like 4 days before gun season starts here in Iowa, so it's getting pretty close. I'm already looking towards late season. Personally, I'm just gonna be really busy this week, so I don't even know if I'll be able to get out after work at all to hunt.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I'm just kind of looking to
stack it up and set up all your appointments for this gun season. Get everything out of the way now, so that come late season you can just hit it hard.
That's the plan. That is the plan. I'm gonna probably head south during late season and see if I can't get it done on a buzzer beater buck with my bow. And then
That
on
sounds
to
like a good
2024, dude. Trade show season's coming up soon, so fuck, it's gonna be busy.
Yeah. Sorry, I know we're wrapping up, but I was just one more question with that because you hunt a muzzleloader. So can you hunt late season with the muzzleloader?
For does I can, but not my buck tag is gone.
Okay,
yep.
gotcha.
So early muzzleloader, that's the thing. Like it's
So
you
you
get a buck
picked early
tag.
instead of late. So
Yep.
I gotcha.
So yeah, it's
But with the bow, it's still free game.
Yep, for late season, yeah. So my archery tag goes from October 1 to December 1, and then it picks back up December, whatever it is, 19th maybe, I think. Whenever gun second season gun ends, then my bow tag will pick back up again.
Got it. Okay.
Yep. So
Very
looking
cool.
forward to it, man. But hey, I really
Yep,
appreciate you coming on, Dominic. It's been a good time.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me. I always love talking with you.
Yep, yeah, anytime, man. So, all right, guys. Well, we'll catch you in the next one.